Alright. Americans are under attack. There's a crisis killing Americans that is nationwide, and it's not drugs or alcohol, and it's not violent crime. The crisis I'm talking about is the homeless crisis. It's a more overlooked crisis, but a crisis nonetheless. And being overlooked doesn't mean that it's less important or has been around any less time than the other crises have. Uh, the homeless population is skyrocketing in the U.S. right now. It's extremely high. There's a need for shelter, food, and just necessities in general. The New York Times published an article back in July of 2022, and it read that shelters across the U.S. are reporting a surge in people looking for help, with wait lists doubling or tripling in recent months. This rise in homelessness is a product of several different things. For some people, it's the high rent and housing costs, and then others, it's just the weakening economy and inflation, not being able to now afford groceries and necessities. And finally, some people just fall on bad luck. But anyway, the homeless crisis is still a crisis, and it's here now. The homeless population is subject to higher crime rates, bad weather, and both blistering heat in the summer and freezing cold in the winter. Last year, we witnessed a really bad storm, really bad winter storm, and the power went out in Texas for a large portion of a lot of the major cities. And there was a lot of fatalities just because of the cold, and homeless couldn't find shelter. So, what can we do? What's going to help fight this homeless population? Well, nonprofits are a great place to start. Places like the Family Supportive Housing Incorporated are nonprofits that are found on Charity Navigator, have a 4-star rating, and donate 100% of their proceeds towards fighting homelessness. Uh, Family Supportive Housing has over 35 years of experience. They've provided thousands of shelter nights and thousands of meals to families in the San Jose area, and they're good not only because they help fight homelessness, but they actually help to rehabilitate and transition the homeless into independent living to prevent a relapse back into homelessness later in life. So, what does the future look like for this crisis? Well, it's kind of mixed, but right now it's starting to look good. USAFacts.com has a graph that shows snapshots of a night in January from every year from 2005 to 2020. And in this graph, it showed a steady decrease of the homeless population, but the homelessness population is still there. It's still in the hundreds of thousands and is very high. And so, to keep us moving in a good direction, we need to not only support these nonprofits that help support our homeless, but advocate for the homeless and their needs, because at the end of the day, these are still people. So, what is it that we can actually do? Well, obviously, we can donate to nonprofits, but besides that, you can use your voice. You can talk to your local politicians, to your local government, advocate for change and the policies that advocate for policies that help the homeless get back into independent living, and try to do away with policies that actively harm the homeless. Uh, Another way is to talk to people and help to pull on their heartstrings, kind of, tell stories the about homeless people. Things like Bobby's story from formerlyhomeless.com, which is a story that talks about a man who fell into homelessness and just how easy it is. Because at the end of the day, these are still people, and they still need necessities and shelter and hygiene products just like everybody else. Oh, minute, pardon.